Hey guys, welcome back. This video serves as the first video in our Algebra 1 and 2 playlists. The whole goal of this video is to introduce the idea of algebra. We'll be talking about the concepts we will be studying, and also giving a general definition of what algebra is. So let's talk about it. So I want you guys to imagine that you guys are building something. Alright, go ahead and pause the video if you guys would like, and get this written down. Okay? So, we're building something. Maybe something like a table. Alright? Alright, so we're building a table. And so I want you guys to think about the components that go into building a table. So we have a flat tabletop surface, and then we attach nails. We attach nails, 2 legs, and then we take those legs and attach it, and we attach the surface. Then on top of that, we have the supports on the legs. Alright, and there's much more that goes into building a table, but these are just the real ideas of not necessarily real ideas, but these are just the first things that come to mind. So taking this idea, all right, how does this relate to algebra? So in the past, you studied arithmetic. And all throughout your grade school, you studied pre-algebra. Alright? And these were all ideas teaching you basic things of addition, subtraction, fractions, multiplication, division, how to plot points. Maybe you guys learned about lines. Who knows? I don't know how far you guys have come. But the whole idea here is we take these ideas and we want to talk about the idea of variables. And that's its own topic in algebra by itself. But we take these variables and we manipulate them. We manipulate these variables using operations. So whether it's plus, whether it's minus, divided by, or multiply. So our 4 basic operations, or we apply some new ones that we learned throughout algebra, such as the exponential, e to a power something, or we learn something about, or the logarithmic, or even the trigonomic that we'll learn in geometry. Alright? If we take any of our variables and we apply operations, we're doing algebra. Because now we're changing it. So we're changing our variable in a sense, and we're trying to see what happens as we do this. Alright? So think about it like this, okay? If we have x, which is a common variable you'll see in math, and you add 3 to it, this variable changes. And so our whole goal is to see what happens to these variables, whether it's in a given sense, or we're trying to make models of real world situations. In that sense, we're trying to study the manipulations, whether it's over time or over a duration. So that's the whole idea of algebra. Okay. And so now, where are we exactly when it comes to studying math? All right. So you guys, if you guys are long viewers of the channel, you guys have probably seen this model where we have a staircase. All right. Within, I think it's my second or third video, I talked about the idea of mathematics in schools being taught in a staircase. All right. No, and not necessarily all the concepts here will fit in a staircase, but a majority of them will, and the rest of them you'll just have to pick up on your own, whether you're studying by yourself or you are reading your textbook or doing your practice problems for exams. All right, so we start off with arithmetic, and arithmetic is just numbers. So we started here. This is really the early stages. All right. And then we moved to pre-algebra. We started learning the basics of algebra. We started learning what variables were, and so this is the school, the elementary school. All right, and so we combine these ideas that we learned in arithmetic and we learned in pre-algebra, and we take them to create Algebra 1. Okay. Now, you guys might be wondering, why did you put geometry here? Well, geometry and Algebra 1, they actually do go hand in hand together. A lot of people say that geometry is its own beast of its own, and in fact they are. But to quantify things, we actually use the concepts that we use in Algebra 1 and pre-algebra, actually. And so that's why I put them on the same step. And then we take these ideas and combining it with pre-algebra and arithmetic. We put algebra 2. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot a step. There's algebra 2 in between pre-calculus and algebra 1 and geometry. And this algebra 2 expands upon algebra 1 and geometry. Yes, it does. We take some basic concepts from geometry and a lot of the main concepts of Algebra 1 and we expand upon them. And so that's where we pretty much are. Then after Algebra 2, we take pre-calculus throughout school. And pre-calculus, in my opinion, it's just Algebra 2 with added study of functions and trigonometry, a lot of trigonometry. All right, and then from there we go to Calculus 1. Calculus 1 takes everything we learned from arithmetic to pre-algebra, algebra 1 and geometry, algebra 2 and pre-calculus, and we talk about how things change. Calculus 1 and 2, actually. You could say they are on the same level, but schools, due to timing, teach them in different time periods. They split it into two classes. Calculus 1 is differential calculus. Calculus 2 is integral calculus. And then lastly, we have the final step, which is here. The multivariable calculus, differential equations, linear algebra. Alright, these come after Calculus 1 and 2. The reason being is because they take everything before that we learned and they expand upon it. Each of these have their own concepts using Calculus 1 and 2, algebra, pre-calculus, and so on. And really, though, we're focused on the Algebra 1 within Algebra 1 playlist, and we are also focused on the Algebra 2 playlist, if you guys are watching this in the Algebra 2 playlist. And that's the ultimate goal, is to help you guys expand upon these. Okay? So, within that, alright, here are some of the topics. There's way too many topics to talk about in Algebra 1 and 2. So we covered the foundations, and that just goes over some things that we'll need in Algebra 1. And then we have the linear equations and graphs. We just talk about lines and how we deal with them. And then we talk about linear inequalities, systems of equations and inequalities, and this should be linear only. All right. Then we talk about functions, and there's just so much more we put in Algebra 1 because it's your first real step of building onto mathematics. All right. It's your first real step of moving forward into calculus, and higher math. Um, in Algebra 2 playlists, all right, we take everything from here that we learned from here, and we expand. All right. Sorry for the messy writing. I'm writing with this mouse. I actually am working on getting a stylus so I could write more freely. And so we expand upon these Algebra 1 topics, and we also cover some new stuff such as higher degree polynomials. We extend our knowledge of numbers and talk about complex numbers, logarithms, exponential models, transformation to functions, and there's so much more. All right, so Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 are actually, in my opinion, the first two steps of actually moving forward in math. These classes and playlists that you see on YouTube or in your schools. These are very important because they build the framework for deeper classes such as pre-calc, calculus 1, calculus 2. Um, Now, just a quick recap. All right, algebra is the study of variables and how we manipulate them. And we manipulate these variables using operations, whether it's the basic ones, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, or any other operation that we learn throughout any form of math. It's algebra because we are manipulating a variable, and we can do this with a application based by making models through a real world example, or we could do this in a sense of just basic expressions and equations as x plus 3. But with that being said, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. I'll see you guys in the next video.